how to target your ideal customer profile without having to run any interest on the campaign side of things. Now, before I dive in, who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Chris Hernandez. I'm the founder of ScaleVelocity.io. We specialize in helping DTC brands get set up for exits, and that comes through a multitude of variety of strategies, consulting, so on and so forth, right? Now, with that being said, in my portfolio, we manage north of $1 million plus of ad spend consistently. And as we wrap up going into Q4, a lot of mistakes I see a lot of founders make when it comes to their advertising dollars is still utilizing old traditional strategies without updating what's currently moving the needle for majority of these businesses, which is ad creatives, adverts. Now, why should we move away from interest-based targeting? Well, simply put, I believe that data and that metric is ultimately outdated with Meta's algorithm. Meta has made a lot of changes to what they're pushing for, which is their machine learning based algorithm. As you can see with Meta's campaign updates, with introducing Advantage Plus, when introducing some of these, even moving away from dynamic creative tasks, moving that to another different layer and then setting that at the ad level itself. Meta is constantly making changes and updates to its platform as it should. And regardless of those updates, Meta has been shifting and pushing a lot of users to go more broad targeting. Why should users go broad targeting? Well, when it comes to setting up broad interest campaigns, the majority of the time, you're giving Meta more data to work with. You're giving them more freedom to test out different demographics. And majority of the time, your creative is going to do your targeting in a broad setting. So the beauty of running broad campaigns is ideally we're going to get top of funnel net new customers who've never heard about our business. And secondary to that is, well, ultimately, we don't have to pay a lot in terms of CPMs, the cost per impression, because imagine if we were setting up interest and we want to hit teachers that are age 30 to 55, right? That's our demographic. We have a product selling to teachers. Well, then that CPM to reach that specific pocket of audience is going to be more expensive versus going fully broad, having creative that has messaging related to teachers and similar demographic. So if you want to save money and be cost effective, well, ultimately we need to optimize our creatives and organize the creative flywheel. Now, this is where the breakdown begins. How do we introduce a creative flywheel system that can allow us to do the targeting? Well, before I dive into specifics, let me show you just a roadmap of why it's super important. Well, first of all, let's say we have a specific product offering here, right? Then we can organize it. As you can see, we have Gen Z, millennial, we have moms, and then we have queer men, right? This is a specific, unique use case for this product. Now we go a step further. Now we can go into concepts. Now we can go into ideologies. Now we can go into, okay, how can we target this audience? But I say this to say it starts at the creative level. It starts with the creative strategist coming in and ultimately doing market research to develop creative concepts. Once those creative concepts are developed, the editor handles post-production. And then if we do need to source or find paid actors, well, then we have a creative coordinator in place to do that for our business. Now, no matter what system you want to integrate, whether you're working with a creative agency or you build this in-house, the system's pretty much the same. It's literally creative strategist, editor, creative coordinator internally. And this is the team structure you need to pump up to 90 testable ads a month. This works for a brand that's, especially on the Bootstrapped side, right? You just reduce the amount of concepts per month. But if we know our ad spend is fueled by the amount of creatives we're testing, well, then we have the variant to control our ad spend, right? If we're testing more creatives, well, the chances of us finding a winner is going to be higher because we're testing more adverts at once and we're making iterations to said data. If we have a loser, but we know the hold rate within the first 3 seconds gets the user to stay on, and then there's a drop off as the video progresses, then I might take that clip, make an iteration to it, and then just change the B-roll footage to increase the hold rate, right? Now, as far as centralizing production, ClickUp is probably the easiest automation here. And then from there, we set it up with script writing, briefing, content cutting, adjustments, review, ready to launch. These are all the updates, and these are all the steps when it comes to the creative production, right? And our creative strategist and editor understands the KPIs in a centralized environment, and this is the communication of it, right? It's pretty much we have ads ready to run. Let's run these ads. Once the media bar launches said ads, depending on ad spend, we're looking at $3,000 a month in ad spend, but ultimately we're looking at least spend $100 a day to reach 7 conversions per day so that we can get out of learning phase A healthy amount of creative concepts should be around 5 to 8, with around 15 to 24 testing variants. So you're testing for every 2 to 3 concepts, you're testing a different ideal customer profile. And then as a byproduct, each ad creative is either going to get 2x in AOV spin or a $100 threshold if the AOV is lower. And then from there, you're just connecting the right advert with the right angle, tailored to the right ideal customer profile. You set that up into your, either you have a scaling campaign or you keep this all-in-one winning ad set inside a main campaign. From there, you're constantly innovating the sales funnel. You're making iterations to continue to expand your funnel. You might have men, you might have women, you might have a mix of both. You might reach a demographic from 30 to 55. You might hit a specific pocket of moms that have children, right? So the messaging is going to be different, but it all starts with creative development, market research, and ultimately messaging and organizing it the way I showed you in the chart. It's how we have different pockets of audience laid out, and reverse engineering backwards. How can we reach this audience in a broad setting? Our creative does the targeting. From a creative standpoint, we start off with statics, then go into GIFs, then go into UGC, right? Once we have the structure, we have a creative coordinator that's reaching out to these content creators. This is the flywheel necessary if you want to scale past multiple 7 figures a month. How do I know this? We're doing this currently for our portfolio of brands. Now, I say this to say, if you're tired of getting burned by ad agencies, you want to get set up for an exit, you want the exact process, you don't want to have to pay 10, 15, 20K a month retainers to set creative agencies, and you want to ideally get set up for an exit. This is what investors want. They want the structure built in-house. So I can guide you and help you build in-house. You just have to check out scalevelocity.io, read my 30-page protocol, and if you feel like you're a good fit, feel free to book in a call, and I'll see if we could possibly do some work together. With that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.